Sportsviewlondon boxing news from the capital city with promoter Eddie Hearn. There was an article published the other day in Irish media. Not sure if you read it.
Go on, tell me, I'll let you know. I don't think so.
But basically, Carl Frampton's of the assumption that things have gone quiet on negotiations, and they're basically waiting to hear from you as a promoter. They also think that if the Nonito Donaire fight happens with Quigg, you'll be of the opinion that the stock will rise, driving the fight further away. Your opinions on that?
I'm not dealing with them. I've been talking to our Heyman's team about the fight quite frequently. Discussions haven't really slowed down, warmed up, anything. We've had a lot of chats. We're still not there. You know, I think someone's going to have to give. I think we've now given from our side, and they haven't. So, you know, we can't just leave ourselves open to be abused. The fight's there if they want to make it. In my opinion, they don't want the fight. I think Carl wants a fight. I think Carl will fight anyone, you know, as fighters would, but I don't think they want the fight. And they'll fight Shingo Wake later on this year, in my opinion. Right. And we'll fight Donaire or we'll fight someone else. But the door's always open. And you know, one thing I would say is that since he signed with our Heyman, the negotiations have been a lot more complex. There's been a lot more detail to them, and they've been much more at length than they have been before. So, are we closer than we ever have been? Yeah, I guess so, because we're further down the line than we were 3 months ago. So, the fight can still happen. It can happen in November, December. It can happen in February, March, April. We'd sign for the fight. If they want to fight Wake, we'd sign for the fight in spring. Not a problem. But we've given from our side regarding the split, but they need to give a little bit from their side, and they haven't done it. So I don't really think they're that desperate for the fight as we are.
Stripping away your experience as a man and growing up around boxing, promoter, if you look at this as a fan, a lot of people have the opinion this is going to be one of the great fights that never happened. Can you?
I think it will happen. I think, you know, I mean, you got a situation there where, you know, we wanted 50-50 for this fight. They didn't, so we went back, and you know, since all the furore of the last 1.5 million offer, you know, this, that, we went back and we gave up on our position of 50-50, and we gave them a better deal. They still didn't want that, but they weren't. You know, it's just no. It's not. A couple of percent on your side can get this done. How bad do you want it? If you really want it, we're talking about a couple of $100,000. You know, you saw on the purses for Mares against Santa Cruz, $1.25 million. That's $700,000.
Is it?
I've just offered you 1.5 for the fight. You know,
is it a complication on as much as it goes a bit deeper than that? You know, like you spoke before, the co-promotion, the purse splits.
The co-promotion is never a problem. Never been a problem. I don't care if it's Matchroom with Cyclone with Matchroom, Sid Snot with Humpty Dumpty. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is making the fight. And again, yeah, if Quigg fights Donaire and beats Donaire, does he stop rise? Absolutely, 100%. Probably makes the fight even harder to make. Right, I mean, it's difficult going back to Scott Quigg and saying, right, Scott, this is what we offered him. You've just KO'd Kiko Martinez in 2 rounds, and your stock has risen considerably. So now we're going to go back and offer him more. I mean, it's like, don't take a rocket scientist to say, that's not right. But we want to make the fight, so we're trying. But they're not trying. So, I'm not going to get into a this and that with them, because ultimately I want to make the fight, and I don't want to have a rift, I don't want to have bad blood from them, because things like that will stop the fight from happening. But, you know, that doesn't come from my side, because I don't care. You know, I don't care about egos and who gets what, you know, whose name's on the ring mat and stuff, whose name is read out by the MC. Can give a monkeys. Just want to make the fight. And we've gone back and we've moved our percentage. They won't. and just for the sake of a little bit of ego and a couple of $100,000, they won't do what we've done.
Is that where this is? Because rewind a few weeks, it was half looking all right, wasn't it? You know, they were. Was this the time you'd initially spoken to Jake, or have you dealt with?
No, spoken to Jake, and then everything since then has been with Al Heyman and his team.
Right.
So.
Is that where it sort of went wrong this time on a negotiation?
No, that's where it's got. I mean, I speak to them 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
So the conversation's there all the time. There was a conversation at length, then it went away. Then I think might have been last night or the night before we started talking about it again. But it's going to take them to do what we've done to make the fight. You know, it's like buying a car. You know, there's a car for 20 grand on the forecourt. You go up and you say, I only really want to spend 15 grand on this car. And the dealer said, I don't want to let this go for less than 20 grand. And then all of a sudden you say, I'll give you 16 grand for the car. And he says, no, but I'll take 18. And you turn around and say, well, meet me in the middle at 17. It takes 2 of you to go on then. This is right for everybody. But they're the ones that won't go. Go on then. This is all we've got to do to make this. You know, you're talking about tiny percentages, but for them it's more about ego. I'm not taking no. But I mean, rather than saying, do you know what? I want this fight, and to make this fight, all I've got to do is just pay that little bit more for this motor. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating, but we can't. You know, I can't just go back to Scott Quigg. Now I've gone back to him and convinced him to take less. After a great performance against Kiko Martinez, I can't go back and do it again. And when he beats the now, I definitely can't do it. So now's the time to strike.
Yeah. And is it just going to get? Are you going to be in a, for want of a better word, are you going to be in a position where you're maybe flogging a dead horse with Scott Quigg if he beats Nonito Donaire?
Yeah, how can I go at Scott Quigg if he beats Nonito Donaire? I mean, he might not fight Nonito Donaire, by the way. But you know, if Frampton fights Shingo Wake, it's a terrible fight for him. Shingo Wake is all wrong. I mean, Frampton wins, but he's awkward. He'll make him look terrible, and it's no good for anyone. And unless Scott fights Kiko Donaire, you know, who else are you going to fight? There's not, you know. So I'd like to, even if they want to take those fights in the winter now, I'd like to get the fight done and dusted for the spring.
Right, signed, so you know where you're moving.
So easy to make, so easy.
Just summarising.
All it is a phone call to go, do you know what, you got it.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Just summarising, finally, the percentages you talk of, are we talking about lots of money and, you know, T's and C's in the contracts, or is it just...
T's and C's, it's just the split.
Right.
You know, the T's and C's will be ironed out in a meeting.
Right.
There'll be some arm wrestling and it will take a couple of hours. Yeah. It's the split. The split has always been the problem.
Is it? I know you know, as a businessman, you can't divulge too much information, but we're talking about a lot percentage-wise.
We're talking about percent. Like we're talking about 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. I mean, that's what we're talking about, not 10s and 20s. And we've moved, and they haven't, and they won't. So how badly do they want the fight? You know, again, you know, if you're talking about 5% of a pot that might be worth £3 million. You're talking about 150 grand. You know, so again, you're talking about 5% of your purse to get this done, to make it happen, to give the public what they want. And by the way, no violins, to make you millions of pounds. And it could be millions. And it will definitely be more than 1.5. But, you know, they've got to do it, and it all comes down to them. If they phone me up today and accept what we've offered, it's done.
Yeah.
But it'll hurt them too much to do it, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, that's when you let your feelings and emotions get in the way of a poor business decision. Right. It's fight Scott Quigg for an absolute fortune, or fight Shingo Wake for a decent dough in a fight no one wants to see.